Hi there everyone, welcome to Pour Painting with Ron. I hope you've been really well since the last time we saw each other. Well, as you can probably see, my background has changed since the last video. Instead of the usual mess of paints and things, you see some very nice tidy shelves behind me. I've been really busy since doing the last tutorial, reorganizing my space in the garage, and I'm really excited to show you how I've organized that in just a little bit. I was really tired of being surrounded by mulch and chicken manure and fertilizers and wheelbarrows and all sorts of things. So I got myself a garden shed and moved all of that into the garden shed. And I've spent some time cleaning and tidying and getting some new shelves to organize my painting space a little bit better. And I'm now really happy with how it looks. I do have some big plans for the future later in the year. I'm hoping to run some painting classes in here, so it really needed a good tidy up. Now, if I move my car out, I'll have plenty of space to put some extra tables and have some people around to do some painting workshops together. Well, that's the plan anyway. Now, before we get into today's painting, I thought I'd give you a little bit of a tour around how I've set things up. Maybe a few things that I've done may inspire you or give you some clues as to how you can organize your space wherever you are. Well, as you can see, I've got half the garage to myself. I can get the whole garage if I move my car out. I really don't know what to do with all the space I've got now. Now, in the middle of the floor here is my baby spinning pool. I thought I might get a new one of these days. It's getting a bit yucky looking. And then I've got a little clothes dryer for my my cleaning cloths and my apron and stuff. Then I've got my drying rack here. All it is just an upturned baby cot that I got from IKEA, and I put some loose sheets of MDF in between the slats. So you can just see here what I've done. I've just laid those MDF pieces across the slats. And then I've got an old bed sheet I used just to wrap everything up with to keep the dust out. On top of that, I've got my massive roll of bubble wrap for when I post paintings out. My little light here I've got for filming myself. And then I've got these wonderful new racks. They're called Racket from Bunnings. Just clips together. Expensive, but very solid. The shelves won't bend, and I've got heaps of room to put all my stuff. Okay, so I've got just some assorted things on the top that I don't use that often. A little water sprayer, my butane torch cans, and gloss varnish, that sort of thing. And then I've got my paints, my lovely metallics here, my Joe Sonias that I use for my bloom pours, lovely colours, quite a few there. Then the Extreme Sheens Deco Art, lovely metallics. I like them, as you can see I've got lots. And then I've got my Heraldo acrylic paints, quite a few there. I went crazy a while back because they were on sale. Not super impressed with them. They sort of lose their brightness when you stretch them out a bit. I don't think the pigment load is terribly high, but when I use them up I'll get global instead, I think. And the shelf underneath got the Amsterdam Paints that I use for mainly Dutch pours. Mix those with water. And then the Montmartres. Lots of Montmartre colours there. I use lots of those. Good value, and that they work well in most pours. And then I've got some old acrylics. What were these? Chroma A2. Didn't particularly like those, but they're the ones I started with. And then all my leftover little bits of squeeze bottles, mainly bloom pour stuff. I can just pull this crate out when I need it. And then along here I've got all my gloves and pins and paper towels and cups and jugs and things. And then the bottom shelf, just my food nets to cover over my wet paintings to keep the flies out while they dry. And then, this is where I keep my Floetrol and glue, my big cans of paint for bloom pours, and puppy pedal pads. So that's that shelf. Lots of empty space still, don't really know what to do with it all. And then over on this side, I've got packing boxes for shipping paintings out. Couple of canvases. I've almost run out of canvases, so I need to buy some more. My blow dryers and my little mini blow dryer, bigger blow dryers. Then just a box of tools like hammers and my leveler to make sure my paintings are level, and paint stirring sticks, that sort of thing. And then a bucket of plastic spoons. I reuse those so they last for ages. And then some paddle pop sticks, really good for mixing little amounts of paint. And then I've got a whole empty shelf that I can fill up with some stuff. Now the best part of all, I've managed to find a space for all of my finished paintings. They were inside the house, just all over the floor. But these are all my smaller ones, and as you can see, I've got them standing upright. They're not really leaning on each other, so not pressing on each other. And I've just put some baking paper over the surface of the painting and then wrapped the whole thing in bubble wrap. And on this shelf on the back wall, I've got you can't really see that, I've got my bigger paintings that I've done the same way, and some buckets there with just some little tiny paintings I've put in there. On the top shelf, tables I use for markets and more packing boxes. And then the bottom shelf, some wadding and a roll of card that I use for wrapping paintings. A couple of boxes of stuff I take to markets, and some larger canvases that didn't fit on the other shelf. And then here I've got my table with my paints ready for the painting today. Canvas all prepared and the paints, and my table. Now the table, I've made sure the legs were level, so the surface of the table is level, and hence my canvas is usually level. And I've covered it with just a bit of thick plastic to protect the surface. When it gets really grotty, I just transfer it to the baby pool. There's a new bit there, and then I put some new plastic on the table. So I'm really happy with this. I've moved all of my garden stuff out into my new garden shed. This is my space for painting. Now I'm hoping, the goal is to do some art classes in here. So if I move the car out, I'll have lots of space to do that. So I hope you enjoyed that little tour of my garage. Perhaps you got some ideas that you can implement in your own space at home. Now I may change things around a little bit, but I'm just so glad I've got all this extra room to do things in. I'm not competing with all my garden paraphernalia. Anyway, now to the most important part of today's video, the painting. That's what we're all here for in the end, isn't it? Anyway, today I'm going to be using this canvas, this 50 by 60 centimetre thin edge canvas, and I'm going, as usual, I taped off the back with some painter's tape and put in some giant push pins to keep it off the surface of my table. I'm going to be doing, I thought today, a multi-ring pour. But rather than keeping my mix really thick as I usually do with ring pours, I'll thin it down a little bit just to see what happens today. So I'm going to be doing 2 rings on this canvas and spreading them out to create some interesting patterns. Now I'm going to be using all blues and silver today, so not many colours, but I'm hoping they'll all look really nice together. I'm using mostly Montmartre colours today. I'm using their cerulean blue. This for some reason was really lumpy, so I had to strain it through a stocking. Hopefully I got all the lumps out. And then I'm using their phthalo blue. This one goes really dark when it dries. I'm hoping it doesn't take over the painting. And then I'm using some silver. Now you could use white, but I thought silver would look nice in this painting. Now to create a little bit more interest, I'm using a bit of Deco Art Extreme Sheen Metallics. And the colour I'm using today is the Sapphire colour. Now, I'm hoping my mix is thin enough for it to pop through and create some interesting effects like pearls and things. We'll see what happens. Thought it'd be good. Now, I'm using 150 grams of each of these Montmartre colours, and I mixed it with 150 grams of my pouring medium, which today is Floetrol, and then a bit of water to get the consistency that I wanted. This one, I think I just used the rest of what I had in here. I think I had about 20 grams in here, and I mixed that with 20 grams of Floetrol and just a touch of water as well. Now, if your mix is too thick, this won't pop through to make pearls. So we'll see what happens. It still may be a bit thick. Okay, I think that was all. I'll show you the consistency in a little bit. But anyway, let's get started. So here are the paints that I've mixed up for today. A little bit less cerulean blue because I lost a little bit when I strained the lumps out. It should be enough. I'll just show you the consistency. So I pour it off the spoon, I get a little mound of paint. If I do a twirly shape with the paint, the bump stays there for 1-2 seconds or so. So it's reasonably thin. And I've tried to keep the consistencies the same across all of the colours. So some colours are thicker than others, so I used a bit more water in others and a bit less in other ones to get the consistency right. Okay, so I'll just bring in my cups. I'm using 2 cups today. And it's a little bit like a dirty pour. I'm not too fussed about the rings as such, and I don't mind if they lose their shape. I just want some interesting patterns happening on the canvas today. So I might start off with the blue. Let's pour in a layer in the bottom. Now, because it's thin, I mean that the colour will mix a bit. Will I put the silver or the light blue? Doesn't really matter. I'll put the light blue. I'll create a bit of a layer on the top. And a bit of silver. I'm hoping my silver doesn't disappear. A little bit of the blue. I don't have much of this. Now for the rest I'll just pour down the side. That's what I normally do with the ring pour. Now hopefully I have enough paint. We'll soon find out, won't we? Okay, now bring in my canvas. Hopefully you can see that. I'll just come around and check. See if you can see what I do. Oh yeah, you can see that. Okay, Now I thought I would do like a ring up here and a ring here and then see what happens. All right. Now you want to get reasonably close with your rings. Try not to dribble too much in the middle. I'll catch the drip. There, caught it. Yes, I will have plenty of paint. Caught the drip. Now, before I stretch it out, I'll torch it a bit. The can is almost empty. Oh, I can undo it. Okay, just painted close. I can see the extreme sheen is reacting already. I can see the extreme sheen reacting there and there, so hopefully I don't lose that. But we'll see. All right. Ooh. Now the trick will be getting up into those corners. Don't particularly want to lose paint yet. I'm going to lose a lot of that extreme sheen, I think. Okay, over the corner. Bring it back to the middle. Bring it back to the middle. And then we'll go up to this corner. middle. And we'll go up to this corner. And we'll bring it back down this way. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, that's looking interesting. Very squishy rings on that side. What will I do? What will I do? Still have a fair amount of paint on the canvas. Lose a bit off there, perhaps. And stretch it back this way. I'm not going to stretch out that ring really well. I don't particularly like this very squishy ring there. I'm just wondering what I can do. I don't think I can do very much. I may need to lose some of it. Don't want to lose that corner up there. I like that corner. Move that one up there. Just want to get a bit of balance happening here. Okay, I think that's better. I'll just make sure all my corners are covered. They're not, so I'll just get my palette knife, pick up a bit of paint, just dribble it on the corners. Corners are always a bit tricky. That's good. I didn't end up with a really dark painting. I didn't want super dark, as I was afraid might happen with that really dark blue that has mixed with the cerulean blue and the silver. Lighten up at all the corners. I think so. Little dab there. Cool. There. Dirty hands. Now I'll just give it a little bit more of a torch. Didn't keep much of that deco art, but I do see lots of glistening happening. So when it dries, it may become more visible. It will be very sparkly, I think. I can see lots of sparkles happening now. Ooh, but this painting is really lovely. I can really see the sparkles now. The silver and the deco art blue just give it a lovely shimmer across like the whole painting. I really love the cloudy looking effects up here. That's really lovely. And I like we kept a little bit of that dark, really dark blue over here. And some just lovely flowing lines through the centre. It looks a bit like agate rock. Hopefully it dries really nicely. All right, I'll bring you in for a closer look and hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. Oh, now hopefully you can see that. I've got the camera above my head, so I don't know what you're seeing, but we'll come down. Oh, there we go. We'll come down. Not sure if you can see the sparkly bits like I can. I really love the colours and the patterns I got in this one today. Through the centre there you can see bit of the extreme sheen happening there. Creates sort of like lacing effects. That's my squashed other ring. I really like the cloudy sort of look that I got up here. I think it's just lovely. So what did you think of that one? I think it turned out really nicely. Perhaps a multi-ring pour is something you'd like to have a go at yourself. Don't be restricted to just 2 cups. You can use as many cups as you like and put as many rings on there as you like. Certainly creates lots of interesting patterns and textures. I'd like to have another go at this one, but with a different colour combination, maybe using gold and some other colours, or different sorts of purples and silver would look good together. The mind boggles. Anyway, I'm sure you'll see some of those in forthcoming videos. Well, it's time for me to clean up now, and unfortunately time for us to go until next time. Hopefully you won't have as long to wait till the next video as you did this time, since I'm sort of more or less set up now here in my garage. Anyway, if you did enjoy the video today, please take a moment to press the like button, and if you'd like to see more of my content, please take a moment to subscribe. Well, I hope you have a really good week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. In the meantime, happy painting.